So a renowned Kenyan professor by the name Professor PLO Lumumba has basically just criticized what is happening in South Africa. So in today's video, we are going to look at what he's saying, basically emphasizing the fact that Africa has to unite and has to unite immediately. So we can have a look at what Lumumba is talking about. Then when we come back, we can analyze the video further. So let's have a look at this. Then when we come back, we can analyze this video further. And remember, if it's your first time here, just kindly make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's watch this.
And permit me to say this very painfully. Black South Africans are suffering from what is called the Stockholm Syndrome. They love their tormentors who are white. That is why it is not even xenophobia. A friend of me corrected me. It is Afrophobia.
Okay.
It is Africans that they do not want. It is the whites who still control over 70% of their land. It is the whites who run an enclave called Orania, where blacks are not allowed.
I know of Orania.
So when you look at it and you see even the very cagey responses by Matemela, Cyril Ramaphosa, it is only after 1 month that he's now coming up and making an address, trying to be as diplomatic as you can be. But you can see in his heart of hearts that he is with the men and women in the streets. Because these individuals, through their utterances, have led others to commit murder. 5 Mozambicans dead. They have led others to lose their property. The Ghanaians have taken away or repatriated nearly 300 of them. The Nigerians are saying, and then they are saying that their fellow Africans are criminals. You would imagine that if you took away all the criminals, then South Africa would be heaven without any crime. Yet statistics tell us 90% of those in jail and counting are South African male, which means that they are the ones who are committing the crimes. If there is one odd non-South African who is engaged in this, let them be dealt with in accordance with the law. And my good friend Julius Selo Malema said something with which I agree.
Yes.
They have started going for the foreigners. When they are done with the foreigners, they'll now turn on Veda, on Venda, Pedi, and Songa, giving meaning to that famous aphorism, if you remember, City by Martin Niemoller. First they came for the Jews. And I said nothing because I was not a Jew. They came for the communists. Then they came for me. And I hope that the administration of Cyril Matamela will do something about it. This idea that they are sending envoys is a scatterbrain. We must call it by its proper name. Don't they have ambassadors in Kenya? Has the Kenyan ambassador, South African ambassador to Kenya spoken about it? And the ambassadors everywhere, have they spoken about and against it? And we must remember, during the struggle against apartheid, statistics tell me that anything between 40,000 and 60,000 South Africans were in exile.
Yes.
In Mozambique, in Tanzania, in Zambia, in Kenya. I remember living next to a South African family in Jericho, and they never left. As I speak to you now, it is estimated that nearly 1 million South Africans live outside of South Africa.
Okay.
Acceptable. So when one sees what is happening, this Afrophobia, where they are telling us, go and repair your country, and I think some of them have never traveled. And they must imagine that in Africa we live on trees, jumping from branch to branch.
Okay.
Perhaps some of them, we should give them a free tour of Africa, including Nairobi and Dar es Salaam and other places and Abuja, so that they are able to see that we cannot in good nature talk about African integration when we are not working together. And lastly,
yes,
they lose out. How many people have been taking their children in high school to South Africa? South African universities, tourism. I can tell you in the next 2 months, the South African tourism will be hit and hit hard. Those who are taking their children to university in those places will withdraw their children, and they are going to regret it.
Yeah.
But we ought not to do what they are doing. My view, we should not expel them. We should not mistreat them. What we should do is, at their moment of hate, we should show them love. Then they'll be disarmed. Then they'll know that they are in the wrong, hopefully. And then I hope to see that the leaders of these gangs should be arrested and prosecuted. It is only then that I'll know the South African administration is serious.
So even though that is now Lumumba speaking passionately about African unity and also criticizing the fact that most of the South Africans, they are doing away with, they are hating, actually that is hating, they are hatings on their black brothers and sisters. That is so bad. But now look, even though some of these things that are happening in Africa, there are also good things that are happening in Africa. Okay? Because Lumumba himself has basically just said that, look, even though the South Africans, they are showing us hatred, the way to deal with that is us making sure that we are showing them love. Okay? So the only medicine for hate is love. And we also have to remember that in South Africa, we have great people who originated from the continent, the likes of Nelson Mandela and others. So the dreams of our forefathers was basically to make sure that Africa is united. It is as simple as that. That we have to remove the so-called tariff and non-tariff barriers, which for a long time was hindering African development. And one thing about Africa is we don't have shortage of plans to spearhead our development. We had the Lagos Plan of Action way back in the 80s. We also had the Abuja Declaration way back, but it never materialized. In 2010, if I'm not wrong, we also had the Africa Agenda 2063. It never okay, let me say it is still in progress. And if you've read about the African Agenda 2063, and you've read it and comprehended it, then I can categorically say that there'll be no place like Africa, because the Africa Agenda 2063 is on another level. It is on another level that we, Africa, has to make sure that we are up to par with what is going on in the world. Talk about education sector, we have to improve our education sector. Talk about the agriculture, we have to improve the agriculture. Talk about the removal of tariff and non-tariff barriers, we have to remove that. Okay? So at the end of the day, so if we put this into place, then we as Africans, we have to realize our potential. It is sad that our brothers and sisters in South Africa, they are not doing what our forefathers dreamt. Okay? Kwame Nkrumah, this was not the dream of Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah's dream was to make sure that Africa was united. It was as simple as that. But now, look at what is happening in South Africa. Afrophobia. Africans turning against their fellow Africans. Why? Because they think that Africans who are in South Africa, they are taking their jobs. In really sense, they are not taking their jobs, they are creating jobs. And at the same time, we are not supporting illegal immigration, no. If there is something to do with illegal immigration, then the law has to take its course. Anyone who is illegally in South Africa has to be taken to court, and the process has to be documented, okay? You cannot say that you are chasing away illegal immigrants when you are banning their shops, okay? When you are destroying what they have been building for years. That is not right. And we have to lament, and we have to condemn what is happening in southern part of Africa. That being said, I also applaud some of the presidents who are in southern part of Africa, and they have now lamented and criticized what is going in South Africa. We also have president in the northern part of Africa. Talk about President John Dramani Mahama of Ghana, who has criticized what is happening in South Africa and has called actually the African Union to talk about what is going to the southern part, what is going on in the southern part of Africa. So Africa has to unite. It is simple as that, and we have to unite immediately. So thank you for showing up. If it's your first time here, we will link up next time. See you next time.